Good morning students. Today we will discuss a new topic, that is crop production from chapter 8, crop production and management. See, agriculture is not a simple process. Means to raise or grow or cultivate a healthy crop yield in good production is not an easy task. It is a complicated task as well as a laborious task. Okay, so a farmer needs to employ or apply a series of a number of various steps and techniques to raise a healthy crop yield in large production. Okay, so these number of steps or techniques employed or applied by farmer to grow a healthy crop yield in large production are known as agricultural practices. There are various agricultural practices which need to be applied or employed in a series, in a sequence at correct time, that we will discuss afterwards. But before moving further, we should know that our population is increasing day by day, and in order to meet or fulfill the food requirements or demands of over increasing population, we need to employ or apply all the agricultural practices in a sequence at correct time, so that we can have a healthy crop production at a large scale. Okay. Now, what are the various agricultural practices? That are preparation of soil, selection and sowing of seeds, addition of manure and fertilizer, irrigation, protection from weeds, pest and diseases, harvesting, threshing and winnowing, and last, storage. So these are the various steps or techniques to be employed or applied by a farmer at correct time in sequence, so that we can have a healthy crop yield in large production, in large quantity. After that, all the food demands or requirements can be fulfilled. Okay, otherwise we will have food crisis. Okay, now the very first agricultural practice is preparation of soil. Now, what is preparation of soil? Before studying preparation of soil, we must know what is the importance of soil, because soil plays a very important and significant role in agriculture. That is why before sowing seeds, before growing plants and crops, we are preparing soil for that. So it is obvious, it is clear that it plays a very important and significant role in agriculture. See, soil is one of the most basic and important requirements of agriculture. As you know that soil is a mixture of various kind of particles like sand particles, fine grains of stones, air, water, nutrients. In addition to this, many living organisms like earthworms, microorganisms such as bacteria, fungi live in soil and increase the fertility of soil. From here, its importance comes into play. How's that? As I told you, soil has many particles, many substances like air, water, nutrients. So all these things, all these substances are provided by soil to the growing plants. Okay, so air, water, nutrients, these kind of substances or particles present in soil which are provided by soil to the growing plants for their growth. Moreover, soil also holds roots of plants firmly so that plants and crops can grow over soil. So these are the main functions of soil which soil performs. So now you can understand that soil is very important and significant for the crops and plants which are growing on soil. Okay, so this soil should be prepared well before sowing or before growing plants or crops. Okay, so for that, first of all, we perform first agricultural practice, that is preparation of soil. Preparation of soil involves loosening and turning of the soil. Means during the preparation of soil, soil is loosened and turned. Why? Because loosened and turned soil has many advantages. A loose and turned soil is properly aerated. Because soil is loosened and turned, so sufficient amount of air can go deep in the soil. Now soil is properly and well aerated. Now it has sufficient amount of air or oxygen which is taken up by the roots of plants. Okay, now next, well water seepage. See, when we irrigate our crops or plants or whenever rainfall comes, then that water easily seeps or percolates down in a loose and turned soil. Okay, so now a loose and turned soil has sufficient amount of water which is also absorbed by the roots of the plants, which enhances their growth. Roots of the plants and crops grow deep and penetrate and easily go into the soil at depth, because now soil is loose, turned. So now roots of the plants and crops easily get space to go deeper and penetrate deeper into the soil. So this enhances their proper growth all over in the soil. Now, living organisms like microorganisms, earthworm, which live in soil, also grow well. Their population, their number also increase. Why? Because now soil is loose and turned. So now soil has sufficient amount of air, water. So this sufficient amount of air and water, these favorable conditions favor or help in the good growth or population of microorganisms and earthworm living in the soil. Now this kind of soil has more microorganisms like bacteria and more number of earthworms. And these microorganisms and earthworm decompose and decay all the dead plants, animals or their organic matter in the soil and increase the fertility of the soil. So a loose and turned soil has many advantages. That is why before sowing seeds, before growing plants or crops, a soil needs to be prepared, and in the preparation of soil, soil is loosened and turned so that it can serve so many advantages to the growing plants or crops. Now, next question is, how is soil loosened and turned? See, Preparation of soil, which involves loosening and turning of the soil. This can be done by two methods, plowing and leveling. First of all, we perform plowing. Now, plowing actually loosens and turns the soil with the help of an implement or tool called plow. This plow is made up of either wood or iron, and it is drawn by either cattle or tractor. Nowadays, we prefer tractor-driven plows because that saves our time and labor. We use plows specially made up of iron. Wooden plows were used in past time in ancient times. During plowing means loosening and turning of the soil, many a times big lumps of soil are formed, means big accumulations of soils are formed, or you can say big balls of soil are formed. Okay, they need to be crushed so that big lumps of soil or big balls of soil which are formed during plowing are then crushed by leveler. So there is a tool called leveler. So with the help of leveler, we crush the balls of soil or big lumps of soil formed during plowing. This method is called, or this practice is called leveling. So what do we conclude here? We conclude that the very first agricultural practice is preparation of soil, in which we prepare soil. Okay. Now, preparation of soil involves loosening and turning of soil. For this, two steps and methods are performed in a sequence, that is plowing and leveling. Plowing actually loosens and turns the soil with the help of a tool or implement called plow, which is made up of either wood or iron. Okay, and pulled or drawn by cattle or tractor. Nowadays, we use iron plows which are driven or pulled or drawn by tractor, because that is time saving and easy task. In ancient time, we used wooden plows driven or drawn by cattle, but that took so much time and hard labor was required. After plowing, leveling is performed. Why? Because during plowing, big lumps or balls of soil are formed. So, in order to crush them, in order to level the soil, leveling is done by a tool called leveler, which crush the balls of soil or big lumps of soil formed due to plowing. And now soil is leveled. Okay? So in this way, we prepare our soil before sowing seeds and growing crops. This is all for today. Thank you. Have a nice day.